very slowly as John stares out into the ether to determine if we are in fact really. Also, you guys got to tell me what ad do you get when you try to see if we're live?
I subscribe so I don't get an ad, actually.
Ooh,
so...
how did you do that? Tell us, why don't you?
You know what? You can just click that subscribe button, or if you got Amazon Prime, click that sub and give a free Amazon Prime sub. Otherwise, Bezos keeps his money, and he doesn't need to fly to space more than once. Come on.
Fair enough. He does need to fly to space more than once. He just doesn't need to come back more than once. He can go and just keep going and going. Nice.
I got a cinnamon toast crunch ad.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, link in the description below. It's a cereal. It's fantastic. Doesn't hold up so well in milk, though, turns out. You really need to eat that shit fast if you want it to resemble cereal. You're gonna fight me on that, aren't you, John? I see it.
You eat it fast. I'm okay with that. But yes.
Yeah.
Gotta have milk in there.
No, because otherwise it turns into like this weird cinnamon toast snot substance that just kind of floats around the bowl. Sorry, I was scarred.
I'll never eat that again.
Cinnamon toast milk is amazing, though. Like, no one can deny that.
True.
Well,
Yeah.
when you get it pre-made in a bottle.
No, you just slurp it out of the bowl.
The only way that if they were
Best way
going to
to do
do
it.
that, if they would have included like the fragments of shit to make it authentic, like the weird
Right.
little, that would have been okay. That would be all right.
I want to cough on it as I'm swallowing it down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here on Myth Brigade. For the first time in a couple of months, we are playing Deadlands, The Curse of the Black Ridge Mine. This is episode 20. This campaign is almost old enough to drink, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to celebrate that by welcoming our cast, starting, of course, with Byron, who is right there at the bottom. Byron, 20 episodes in, what's your favorite episode been so far?
My favorite episode? Oh, shit. I don't know. Every episode is my favorite episode, I guess.
That's a good
Like,
answer.
really?
I don't believe it.
Really? They're all fantastic. I can't.
But if
I
you
don't
had
know.
to
I
pick
think
one,
if I had to pick one, let's see here. I'd probably say let me consult Dobbs's poetry book. Let's see what's most important to him. I would have probably said "Who took my boot?"
Who took my boot? Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. All right. Well, what's been going on? I mean, rumor has it you're doing a little gaming.
Yeah, lots of gaming, like everywhere. Working on the studio upstairs. Got a little bit more done. Getting there slowly.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing how many coats of paint and primer a room that has been the same color since 1983 takes. But but yeah, getting there. So hopefully debuting that next week, maybe as
Right
background.
on.
I won't, but we'll see. We'll see if I get that far or not. If I decide to be lazy and work on other things like Pendragon and
Yeah, exactly. You got to prepare. So we're playing Pendragon tomorrow. So that'll be
Yeah.
like our 4th or 5th episode of that, which is pretty cool. Check that out. It'll be
More
live.
than that.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah,
4th or 5th?
it'll be John's third episode. It'll be James's third
John
episode.
doesn't play that one. It's so
Yeah, John
confusing.
doesn't.
Nice. Yeah, so that'll be going on, and then not this Thursday, but next Thursday we're doing the Fallout thing, which is pretty cool. Jordan's running Fallout RPG. It'll be a second episode of that, where I play the Toxic Avenger's cousin, apparently, which is pretty cool. Excited about that. John's playing in it with us. We got Dion and David Smith and Mike Garcia, so two new players, 3 if you count Dion. Speaking of John, what's your favorite episode, man? Episode 20?
I think I'm gonna have to go with favorite for memorable was killing Teddy 1.0. That was a very shocking, emotional session. One of the more emotional sessions of tabletop RPG that I've ever had. So favorite, but probably for the wrong reasons. But yeah, hey, at least I got that bonus of shoving people now.
John,
So
you killed Teddy. You
1.0.
you
never
killed
killed Teddy
Teddy.
2.0 yet.
no, that one wasn't you. That was Dobbs.
So brutal.
Nice. Any announcements? What's going on with the channel? What have you been up to? You've been traveling a little bit. You're in the UK for a minute, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say I've been traveling around, been keeping busy in the Fallout RPG. So I had our first session last week. So excited for that one, and still working on it. But sometime in August, gonna be doing a tabletop weekend to support Extra Life. So we'll probably be running a Cyberpunk Red one shot that we've been doing with the group for 3 or 4 years now of just very sporadic one shots. And then possibly the Wendy's campaign. If you didn't know, Wendy's came out with a tabletop RPG very similar to D&D 5e, but it's like a legit core rule book and setting.
And what do you do? Do you eat shit? What do you do? Do you eat things?
You know what? We're going to figure it out. We're going to find out.
Can I please play that with you?
Yeah, we can figure that out.
And is there free food involved? Because, yeah. Very cool.
We'll see if Wendy's can sponsor us for Extra Life. Let's see if we can get that.
I bet you could. At least one of them. That is so weird. I'm going to have to look into that. And if it's cool, link in the description below. Nice. Good. Len, favorite episode?
I'm sorry, I'm too busy Googling the Wendy's TTRPG. I am not keen enough to remember the name of the episode, but shortly after Teddy's untimely demise, I do recall a harrowing race away from the compound where we were being beset upon, wherein shots were fired, Murph and the doctor raced away on horseback, and Jobs lobbed an explosive projectile at a blimp and blew it up. So to me, those highlights just forever live in my mind as some of the best chaos at a TTRPG table. And I can never get those visuals out of my head.
That's awesome. What's been going on with you? Any announcements? Any stuff to share? What's been happening? How's the fire pit?
Really, fire pit's great. We christened it, did a couple of fires, got some hammocks back there, so it's really coming together, and just in time for summer. But other than that, I mean, pretty much nothing. Just working, bowling championships, had a crazy week. So yeah, my entire job was a film studio for a bit, and it was kind of cool. But ultimately, I'm very glad that it's over.
Yeah. Well, we are glad it's over and that you're here and that we're back together doing this thing. Mr. Mike, favorite episode so far?
All right, I'm gonna double it. Because my favorite scene, I think standalone scene itself, was actually episode 19. Nate stepping up onto that train station and sort of stepping into a new world, and like, holy shit, the acting and the imagery that you put in our heads was absolutely stunning, and I definitely felt chills in that. However, I think my favorite adventure to date, episode start to finish, has got to be the battle against the mother worm. There's something about hucking kamikaze sheep into the mouth of a giant sandworm is just gives you the warm and tinglies.
Yes. Yeah, that was actually, that would have been my favorite as well. What's funny, I find it hard because all the ones that, like Len, the one that you just mentioned, brought me back to that place, and that was a whole lot of fun. Where the campaign's kind of finding its way, like it's found its way yet. I don't even know. Announcements, Mike. What the hell have you been up to? What kind of weird shit are you making? You had to have made something weird recently. A water tower.
Recently,
you made a water tower.
I did do a home theater renovation for a friend. That one wasn't quite so weird, but it was a really awesome transformation from start to back. We took like a spare room, built a built-in riser, electric chairs, 145-inch screen, and 4K projectors, and the whole nine. It was really, really cool. For somebody else, I'm actually building a hood that goes, like, you know how you have like those hoods that go over your oven and like they suck away all the dust.
Yeah.
I'm building like a custom box to go around that to sort of hide the hood and do a like custom decor in the kitchen, which is
you're building a wood hood to go over the metal thing, over the thing that makes the fire.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not a particularly complex project, but it certainly is not something I ever thought I'd be like paid to build for somebody.
That's cool as shit. That is
it kind of is. Like, people I didn't know. I didn't know they
Yeah,
were going to have those kinds of problems. So
I've actually seen those, like as like ones you can buy that like
Yeah,
magnets and they just snap over the top of it.
yeah, I never heard of it, and then I started Googling to get inspiration and get an idea of what's going on, and it's like a thing, I guess. So,
Yeah.
yeah. See what else I got going on. Started a new campaign, so I'm finally back in the DM chair.
Ooh, nice.
It's a custom amalgamation of the Lost Mines of Phandelver and Storm King's Thunder. So we are on game 3, and that has been an absolute blast to run through that. And just because I want John to feel jealous, I am doing the Galactic Star Cruiser next week, which is going to be absolutely amazing. I just had my costumes tailored and picked them up right before this. Actually, I got home like 10 minutes before we started.
What the hell is this?
And everything fits amazing. And
what is this?
The Galactic Star Cruiser. So Disney has a mock cruise where it's a resort that you go to on Disney property, but it all is like a space cruise.
Like Goosebumps, thinking about explaining it.
Dude, they keep sending me notifications, and like there's an app where it's like your passport and data pad, and they're like sending me messages about like there's like a 3-day storyline that goes through, and so they're starting to seed some of that data as you're going through, which is pretty cool.
Myth Brigade Con, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should converge and do some crazy shit like that. That would be amazing. That would be
absolutely
nice.
Yeah, so I will gloat and tell you guys all about it when we play next time for sure.
Awesome. Hopefully it's not 2 months from now. Speaking of playing, the way that we get this game going is we break the audio by doing this thing. I can't remember. Is it like a yay or what is it? How does it go? Let me see if we can get it right. So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
Oh, it's that sound. All right. So we are now in it. Everybody knows what everybody else has been up to. I found some royalty free. That was the last one. We got copyright claimed in the last 10 minutes of the fucking episode because of some playlist that was going in the background. Makes me sad. Are you guys ready though?
Ready.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I think we're all like anticipating.
When last we joined our posse, they'd found their way through the... This is the wrong update, isn't it? No. They'd found their way through the parched lands of the deep desert to an abandoned ruin of a town known as Ghost Hollow. There they found themselves between worlds, where the cool waters of a nearby stream could drain the life force from a thirsty traveler and trap them forever in between worlds. Oh, and they killed the reverend that had sworn an oath to God that he'd protect any who came along and didn't get the hint. In the end, they sorted out that a ticket on the train out of Ghost Hollow couldn't be bought with neither coin nor gold, but with a human sacrifice paid to the bloated, sawtooth walking corpse that calls itself the conductor. Nate watched as apparitions on the platform tore a petty criminal to ribbons and the gore sprayed everything within sight. And then, just like that, their passage was paid. Passage to where, you might ask? Well, that part remains a little unclear. Oh, and then there's the matter of Lefty Hauser in the Dead Seven. Seconds ago, you stepped up on the platform and trying to blend in as much as you could, you were noticed by one of the apparitions in the crowd who presented himself and said something along the lines, Nate, what did he say? I'm trying to remember. He said,
John goddamn Ivey.
Yeah, that's what he said. John, do you remember? Tell me something about Lefty. What's special?
Well, been in a lot of duels in my time. Had a lot of gambling and card games have gone a little sideways here and there. Lefty always stood up though as being a left-handed gun artist, and boy, he thought he was good with a gun. Pretty good with a gun. Not quite as good as me though.
And what does that mean? Is there something that happened to Lefty that you want to share with the stream, maybe? What happened to Lefty?
Well, accused me of cheating. I accused him of cheating right back. I might have had more evidence. Maybe I was. Hard to say. We, went out as men do and duel. He trash talked a fair amount, and then luckily I was helped out by some of my more ethereal friends, we'll say, and I was quicker on the draw.
So, what he means to say, Stream, is that he shot Lefty Hauser right in his face. And there remains that kind of bullet hole, that sunken, kind of pale, sort of dried out little crust of blood around it. And just before we closed last time, you were entering into a dialogue when he sort of just went, whew, and brought into existence some friends of his. Once upon a time, they were known as the Dread Seven. But, Lynn, I'd like you to tell the stream why they're known now as the Dead Seven. What happened to them?
Well, Lefty shot first, okay? And that's all we need to say. And the rest just kind of happened really fast. One after the other. Just pop, pop. And now they are known as the Dead Seven.
In fact, they are. You've called them that for quite some time, and so as soon as I can get Roll20 to respond to my attempts to show you the map, you will see. Hang on, let me move this over here right next to it. We had major lag with. It looks like it's going to happen to us again. Dude, yeah. There we go. God, tough. You guys should be able to see a train station. Stream should be able to see a train station at this point as well. So
Yep.
you on the there are a handful of folks, and then there's Mr. Lefty squared off against John. They come into a sort of just come into a physical appearance around you just out of nothing, like up out of the dust. Just like this, and then they're there. How do you react to the seven showing up? Let's start with Nate, because he loves supernatural stuff a lot.
Yeah, well, anybody who knows Nate knows that he's got a level head and he plays it cool all the time. And so he hears that ringing voice, and while underneath the vest his skin's crawling just a bit, he's still got that charming smile on. And he says, "Lefty, how you been?"
So he kind of looks up at you. Nathaniel, you some bitch. You still hanging out with this pile of trash? His finger dancing on the edge of his gun already.
Yep, Nate is sort of tapping his cane and fidgeting with it in his hand. "Oh, Lefty, you know that only my mama calls me Nathaniel. John here, he ain't so bad. Sounds like you still got a chip on your shoulder."
I do remember that's what she called you. 'Cause that's something she told me whilst we was laying in bed together. On account of biblical things. He smiles, and just some worms kind of crawling out of his mouth. Who's this big bear sumbitch is with you? I don't recognize him. Smells delicious, he says.
Talking to Nate or talking to Dobbs?
He asked you the question of who the big bear son of a bitch was.
I got you. Yeah, okay, so he's still talking to me. Nate smiles. He goes, you must mean my friend Dobbs. Charming son of a bitch. Hey, Dobbs, why don't you come say hi?
I step forward. It's not gonna let me move my guy, but anyway.
Yeah,
but I stepped forward like a couple feet, and I was like, well, most people just call me Dobbs. Well, that is as long as they get to. And I'm gonna spit tobacco on his boot.
So you do
'Cause
that. You
That's my agreement.
yeah. So you spit the tobacco on his boot, and it just kind of. Did you make a spit roll? Is that what I saw come through?
I can. No, I didn't
Oh.
make a roll at all.
Spit
but
count.
I
Spit
That was
count.
me,
That's
spit
so
count
good.
one.
Thank you, Ash. That's amazing. So yeah, you do that. And he kind of looks down, and you would expect him to be extremely upset with you. Now, my quarrel's not with you. Looking at his boot.
Well,
Quarrel's with your
I
friend.
beg to differ, son.
You can move yourself now, by the way, if you want to. Or no, actually,
I beg to differ, son. If you have a quarrel with anybody on this platform that I call a friend, then your quarrel is strongly with me, sir.
Are you trying to be intimidating?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you make that roll? You're gonna need a hell of a roll.
Oh, I don't have intimidation anyway.
You don't? Wow.
No.
That's a missed opportunity.
I don't need it. I just beat him to death in
sweet
real
for it.
life. It apparently
Yes.
Roll20 has a massive lag because it's not. Oh no, there it is. It's rolling.
Is
Oh yeah,
it? Okay.
very unskilled at intimidation.
Yeah. So he just. So Dobbs, you should be able to move yourself now. Can you just check that just to make sure? Yeah, all you guys move a square just to make
Yeah,
sure.
I can now. I only went up 5 foot, so I stepped there in front of John.
Okay. Yeah, there is lag. Oh, well, I'm just going to have to appeal your sense of gentlemanly behavior here and ask that you just step aside and allow me to duel with Mr. Ivy. Or don't you understand how gentlemen operate? Because if you don't,
Well,
he kind of looks over his shoulder, and all these gnarly fucking like dead, rotten, gross-looking cowboys crack knuckles and necks and shoulders and things.
well, last I checked there, sir, duels don't happen more than once. And that shiny, nice little hole in your forehead says we already know who the faster gun is.
He's
I kind of like peek my head around Dobbs. That's me.
He's gonna go ahead and make himself a spirit roll to see if he can put up with your bullshit. And he can. Oh, you see, you don't get here without dying, Mr. Dobbs. So I reckon we're on even footing now, and I would like to have a second attempt. You know, just to even things out. Besides, wouldn't it be interesting to see where you go from here, now that we're all dead? By the way, how did you die?
I kind of lean around Dobbs again. Well, you see, I know you with 6 of your friends, all dead somehow. Me with 3 of my friends, we're actually still alive. We just came to visit, send you a hello, and maybe figure out what happens if you die twice.
Son, you're not alive. You don't get here without being dead. Did they not tell you that? You just don't know yet, do you?
I guess, quick question: do we look normal?
Define normal.
I guess like he's got maggots and stuff in his mouth and a hole in his head,
No.
but we're probably like dirty and
Yeah. Pale.
exhausted, but not like that.
Yeah, pale and drawn though. Now that you're,
Okay.
give me a notice check actually. Nope. Yeah, pale and drawn. Just kind of tired. Like, you know, Ash could use a nap maybe. Dobbs a little.
Actually, I had a quick question also.
Yeah, sure.
Did my spit hit his boot?
It did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Like I'm about to cut his head off.
There was an underlying question to that.
So there's a bit of a crowd gathering. Some of the other. What's interesting though, Ash, you're ever the observant one, and you're kind of at an interesting spot. So give me a notice check while you're back there. You've gathered the attention of some of the other sort of apparitions, if you will. That remember once you came onto the platform, everything kind of solidified. You feel like you're among more normal people. Yeah, so
9.
you notice as you're looking at John and you're looking at Dobbs, and we're just kind of with that, right? Yeah, they all look really pale and just sick. Like John's got, he's normally very vibrant. Even when he's dirty, he's pretty well put together. He's that kind of gambler guy, well dressed and whatnot. But he just looks haggard.
Would this have anything to do with the protections that were put on us?
You don't know.
I think that's what she's thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
She's going to take this opportunity to, as they're talking, just check her guns again. And she's already got her hand on the holster. Same as Lefty.
Okay. So, Mr. Dobbs, and he steps forward. He's a good bit shorter than you. He's a little guy, Little guy with a real mean kind of Chihuahua attitude. I'm going to ask you one last time to get out of the way and let men be men. Otherwise, you and I going to have a problem. Man.
Before Dobbs punches him in the face or anything, I put my hand on his shoulder and kind of like gently push you to the side and say, "It's all right, Dobbs. I can take this one. You might need to take the other 6."
I kind of snort at him and spit on his shirt. And I said,
"Can I get a spit count, please?"
Lucky for you. I'll listen to my friends. I'll stand to the side.
He sees you step aside and he looks at you and, "Don't worry."
But I'm going to step this way.
What way? Yeah. There'll be enough to go around, Dobbs. Now, he fluffs out his duster. You want to do this right here? Is that what you want to do, Mr. Ivy? He cracks his
Want another try? Not gonna lie, took all my willpower to not just shoot him while he was doing that.
Yeah.
But maintain.
That would've been-
Try to be a gentleman again.
Amazing.
Yeah, so Nate sort of whispers over your shoulder, "We doing this, John? You gonna do him?"
Yeah, I got him, but we're gonna need help with the others.
Yep. Nate sort of nods, and his demeanor changes. Right, he starts to work the room the same way that we do on the streets in the different towns that we go to visit. "Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a duel right this way," and he's like very deliberately sort of pushing the other guys aside and make room for the gentleman, and like making sure the attention is there. If we're going to do this like gentlemen, then we're going to do this like gentlemen.
Nice. Okay. So you say this and kind of step around. People clear out, obviously. The dead guys, as you walk past them, you realize they're just like, there's something so wrong about them. They're not physically there, but they are. You can smell them. They smell like a body that's been laying, on the roadside in the heat for a couple days. But they're, serviceable enough. A variety of wounds. Kind of use your imagination. They're all grievous wounds with bullets, knives, you name it. There's one that's completely scalped. It's just like kind of, But yeah, so they do clear, and Lefty walks back. Mr. Ivy, the thing is, I know you were cheating. And you deprived me of something real important. And that was fatherhood. Because you were so determined to prove that you weren't a cheater, you were willing to shoot a fella whose wife was expecting. And he turns around and looks at you. How dare you? God is good, though, because he brought you back to me. I may never kiss my son, but I will goddamn sure have my vengeance. And his eyes flare.
I pull out my pocket watch and look at it. Oh, sorry. Are we ready? Take two?
He doesn't laugh, obviously. I'm having trouble not laughing. All right, so, yeah, so 10 paces, is it?
That'll do.
So you go back to back, old school. Not, you don't have
Sounds
a town to be across the whole, the whole ghost town. And so as you go back to back, funny thing is, she made the mistake of calling your name once.
So when they're back to back, I assume he's sort of whispering that over his shoulder, or do we hear that on the?
Give me a notice check. Give me a notice check. Yeah. So John, move yourself over to. I'm just doing weird shit with the map now. Here, you're starting here. 4's and up win. So Nate, Dobbs, Ash. No, you don't hear it. You're kind of off to the side, kind of watching sensibly and keeping track of targets. But yeah, you catch that.
Yeah, Nate almost imperceptibly just shakes his head like, "Oh no."
See, the funny part
Pulls
is,
it back together.
The funny part is, Nate, should have been your name. Best of your recollection. Back then, you guys are always together. Maybe he got the two of you confused. What the hell?
When we take our first step, I'm gonna just whisper back, "That wasn't a mistake."
Okay, so yeah, so you take your move, which there's no clean way to kind of illustrate this that I can think of. So you basically high roll on a d6 is going to get to act first. I don't want to do cards for this one, so
Okay.
1d6.
So just straight D6?
Yep, just straight d6. High roll gets to shoot first. Oh. Yep. So John, as you walk, you kind of move and you're like, all right, I got this. I haven't dueled in a while. When you turn, he's already facing you. Like there's no way. He's just so fast. Maybe it's because he's dead and stuff. And so he fires. And I'm going to spend all my GM bennies on this one. And he actually does succeed with his shooting roll. I should have used the attack and damage roll, so ignore the attack on this one. There we go. Whoa! Okay, so 11. What's your toughness?
4.
Yeah, so that's bad. So you're going to be, you will be shaken. So he turns, pow, and you just feel this, and you just, and your ears ring. And there's this heat inside you. You'll take 1 wound, and you will be shaken. So you've got to deal with the wound, obviously, but you will also be shaken because we one upped your toughness. So at this point, you drop down. How do you react to that being shot? It's first time in a while.
I mean, I just go red with like fury at this point. Obviously shaken, but I mean, I'm hoping I have my gun up at least, so I can still kind of shoot while kneeling. Like, I guess I go down to my knees and hope I can pop a shot off.
So you go down, you will be shaken. So the way that you will deal with that, and so you'll get a turn, but so you can go one of two ways. You can either spend a Benny to unshake, and you can act on your turn, or because we're in this kind of dually thing, I'm going to say you'll lose your next turn, but you can keep your Benny, but make a vigor roll to recover naturally. You pick.
I will spend a Benny.
Okay. So you spin that Benny, you feel the pain, and your hand's there, and you see the blood, and it's thick and warm, and you're just like, oh God, that's right in the gut. And he's there, and he's smiling. He's just waiting for you to fall forward dead, but you don't. You rally. What do you do?
Could I get to him in a move action? Just a single move action.
What's
I'm
your
forgetting
pace?
what pace was and stuff on this.
Squares, basically, is the easiest way to think of it.
Where? Sorry, I'm trying to find where my speed is.
It's by derived stats in the middle of the character sheet.
Yeah, it's like dead center of the character
Oh,
sheet.
pace. Okay.
Probably 6 or something, right?
6 usually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just shoot him.
Okay. Just like, I'm just going to do something boring and shoot him.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you you shoot, you aim, you just kind of to pow real quick.
Yep.
Ooh, the wild die saves you. You're going to get a 4,
Okay.
so that is a hit. And ooh, nice. His
11 back to him.
Yeah, and his toughness is so you hit him, not enough to do a wound, but it will shake him, and you hit him, and there's just like powder puff out the back of him, right? He's kind of dry, husky guy, and it's this cloud of shit, and he spending a Benny, so he will drop down to 2 now, because he is a wild card. He basically kind of. We gonna trade him? Is that what we're gonna do, boy? Do you have any? You want to use any move, or is that you gonna let it stand with a shot?
Oh no. Sorry, I might need to retcon a bit. I have dodge that subtracts 2 from all ranged attacks made against character, as long as I'm not completely taken aware. Which maybe I was unaware since he was faster than me.
Yep, I'm gonna say you were. Also,
Okay.
because you didn't tell me
remember
that then. I'm not rewinding that
Yep.
far.
All
It's a
good.
lot of work, fucker. No, yeah. So
All good.
you won't. Yeah. Okay, fine. You won't forget that soon, will you?
Won't forget that.
What do you do? What is everybody else doing while this is going on? So Dobbs, you're right there. Kapow! You see John drop. Nate's right there. You see him drop to a knee. Ash, what are you guys thinking? Starting with Dobbs.
I'm thinking the bullet's already been fired, and I don't really give a shit who won at this point. But I am going straight to his grill. So he's exactly 6 paces from me, which is exactly how far I can move.
Okay.
And so I'm going to get straight in his face, and I'm just walking right through these guys, just right down the barrel.
Okay. So you step up. You're moving that direction. We're going to fold into initiative order here in a second. I've got that set up in the turn order. But Ash, what are you doing? So you're there, kind of watching. You see John get hit as well.
I think while they were doing their paces, she was loading her gun. She has loaded 6 rounds of what I have in my inventory as special bullets with a question mark after it.
Smart.
So
Smart.
she just loaded those up, and as soon as Dobbs starts to move, that gun is out of the holster.
Okay, got it. So you basically see him start to move. You prepare. What about Nate? What's Nate doing? There's these 2 dead guys kind of behind him, looking uneasy.
Yeah, Nate isn't quite so eager to jump down the throat. John made it very clear that he wanted to do this the gentleman's way. So Nate is standing there, cane in between his legs, and his knuckles are white as he's gripping the head of this thing. And he's just talking down to John. Get up, John. Don't let him finish you like this. Get up. But he's not charging anybody, and I think Nate knows that as soon as he goes, these guys are going, and all hell's going to break loose.
Nice. So we're going to we'll fold into initiative with that being your action. So I'm going to consider that, Mike, a held action. So if you want to jump in and act at some point, you are welcome to do so.
Perfect. If one of these guys start firing, I'm gonna jump in to help.
Got it. First up in the turn order is John, which kind of works. So Dobbs is kind of running and is now in the way. You may be able to get off a shot, but it's going to be super risky.
Luckily, I had my pocket watch out, looking at the time while you're shit talking, so I activate my pocket watch. I can't attack while that's active, but that does it for a round, so I'll double move.
Nice.
And I believe I can get behind him.
So what would describe the camera like when you hit that watch? I think Dobbs, I think you're back here and you're pitched forward like in a run. John, what is it like? Just everything's
Yeah, it's just kind of like everything's going full pace, and it's almost like tick, 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 and you hear the watch just slow down in its ticks, and then suddenly everything's still, just barely moving. Mainly Dobbs' fist at this point.
Yeah.
And I get up and I more casually, I guess, a brisk walk, still holding my side a bit, walk up and walk around and raise my gun towards the back of Lefty's head.
Oh my God!
Since
Yeah,
I got the front of it, might as well get the back.
So you make your way around the back. Are you going to take that shot, or are you going to wait?
I can't do it with.
That's right. You can't attack with the back.
I'll have to wait till the next turn.
So yeah, you're running at normal pace, and everything else is moving, but it's moving super slow. And so yeah, you move around, running past the dead guys, all these other apparitions. You think, in a way, as you pass, you see Lefty's eyes kind of start to try to follow you, but they're not fast enough. Ash, you're up sort of next, but this round, that kind of screws everybody for this round, does it not, John? It's active for a round?
Yeah, technically. So, I mean, I don't know. You could just play it as it is the exact same spot in the round.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah. So it comes back. Let's pick up with Ash. I like that. So, Ash, something happens, and you think you maybe have a mini stroke because John is just like gone from where he was in your periphery, where you knew, and then suddenly he's standing behind Lefty, just like with a gun to the back of his head. What do you do? I think you're muted.
Better?
Yeah, so much better.
These headphones are a little wonky. She's known John to have some tricks up his sleeve now and again, so although she is taken aback at first, I think we kind of, and maybe John even saw this slow-mo as she turns and draws the pistol and is going to aim it right at this gentleman who is standing next to Nate. And just train it. She's going to hold her action again to see if anybody else gets hostile, kind of taking a cue from Nate. But she is pointing that pistol at this man.
Give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Hostile it is. You glance and you read the body language. Even dead, these guys have got to tell. And so the one that's right there behind Nate has reached out to his side and you're coming out of this sort of time warp thing and has got a Bowie knife. And Nate is completely not focused on him. You know, he knows he's there. And the other one is drawing a pistol.
Oh, yeah. Then she takes the shot.
Which one are you going to shoot?
The one that's directly behind Nate.
Okay. The one with the knife. Got it. Roll.
Yes. Bowie knife guy.
David Bowie is his name. Sorry.
Oh, no. Don't make me hurt, Mr. Bowie.
Bowie's in space. Okay, so you do hit with an 11. So give me some damage roll, and you're using special rounds, aren't you?
I am.
And that's a raise because it's an 11?
No.
No. Okay.
Wait.
If it was a D12, it would be a raise if it was a 12, right?
Yeah, that's right. Wow. Okay, so what happened? Wait, where's my toughness on this fella? Hello, fella. Oh, that's unfortunate. So what's first of all, those little shrill bottle rockets that you had, you know, the rounds as they come out of the end of your pistol sound like that, but there's this sort of after trail of sound like this, like a spirit almost soaring through the air, a little pink streak heading at them. He explodes. You hit him, but then from the inside, it's like it burns the spirit right out of the husk. And his eyes, you know, his head looks up, and then you see this sort of like pink fire come out of his mouth and eyes, and he collapses to the ground dead because he's just a wee extra, which is unfortunate. First time you've shot these, what do you think about that, Ash?
I don't think she thinks anything besides glancing back to Dobbs and John, like around the corner, and she just shouts, "Yeah, we can kill him twice. Let's go, boys."
Yes. Up next is Dobbs. So Dobbs, again, give me a notice check.
Let's see here.
Okay, so you don't understand how it happened. That's what the notice check was, to know if you put 2 and 2 together to determine, oh, he's got that, because the pocket watch has very few charges, so I know he doesn't use it often, almost never. So suddenly you're there and you're in mid-action, but John is over this guy's shoulder, like out of nowhere. It's like literally you're running, and then suddenly he's just like, boop, he appears like a badly cut old video. What do you do?
I'm gonna assume that John probably has that handled, and so Dobbs will kind of like do as a feint, and he will stop right there and turn. And as he turns, he just goes shing with Jennifer and does a sweep move, which allows me to attack everybody within reach, and I get the 2 bad guys.
What's so special about Jennifer, by the way, Dobbs, for the stream? It's been a while since we talked about that young lady.
She's like a Bowie knife with a Ghost Rock add-on.
Ooh, lordy. Okay, so
or like a short sword.
Yeah, which one are you going to attack? Can you ping him, the one to the south of you or the north of you?
So I can actually get both of them because Dobbs has sweep, which allows me to take a negative and hit anybody within reach.
Wow.
Hit
so you're
all
gonna do like that? You're
opponents
gonna do
within
like a Tasmanian devil move. I dig it. Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So I will take a -2 to these rolls, but I'm gonna make 2 attacks.
All right, let's have the first one. That's gonna be a no.
Miss with the first one.
Ooh,
Hit with the
second one you hit. Okay, that sucks. Tell me what that's like. Which one do you get? The one to the north or south?
Well, I would have swung it. I'm right-handed, so I would have swung at the one to the south first.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably just barely cut the tip of his hat as I was swinging and catch the other guy right in the neck because he thinks I'm only attacking his friend.
Yeah. So,
and,
yes.
And the Ghost Rock just kind of activates and sizzles down the blade.
And what happens to his head? I need to know. Like, I think the stream needs to know. What happens to that undead?
He kind of laughs for a second, and then he just falls off onto the wagon wheel.
Nice. So yeah, he's laughing as his head falls from his shoulders and just kind of like plops down.
There's that wagon wheel behind it, it just kind of hits every rung, just like ding, 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 ding.
Nice. So I'll move him here just to commemorate where his head landed. This guy, yeah. So he basically took a step back, and his hat is ruined, and he's not pleased with that. Let's see who's up next. Okay, so the bad guy cowboys are going to start now. So the dead 7, as it were, making himself. He's going to fire. Come on, roll 20. I'm hitting it. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, so Dobbs, you were there. You've just cut the guy's head off, and bang, you get shot.
So my parry is 8.
Parry is for fighting, not for being shot.
All right.
Yeah.
Heard.
Oh, God. Sorry. I didn't plan that. Yeah, that's a bad one. So Dobbs, you get shot. You will take 1 wound, and you will in fact be shaken. So and John, don't forget you have a wound, and that puts you at -2 for actions and stuff. Right? There's that kind of thing.
I got rid of the wound.
Nope, you got rid of shaken.
Got rid of shaken.
You got to heal a wound. You can shake off shaken, but once you're shot, you take a wound. So yeah, Dobbs, you take an actual wound for the first time in forever. Where does he shoot you? I'm going to let you determine. This is a momentous occasion for me. Really, it is. Don't tell me he shoots you in the toe.
He probably shoots me like right in the hand.
In the hand? I don't believe I like the idea of being shot in the hand. What's that, Rustler's Rhapsody or something? Yeah. So okay. So you're swinging, and just he shoots you in your free hand. I'll be nice. He doesn't shoot you in your Jennifer hand, but he blows a hole straight through the palm of your hand, potentially doing some tendon damage and other stuff. So yeah, that sucks for you. He is not going. Actually, what he's going to do? That's this guy. He's going to kind of take a step back. Perchance you decide that you're going to go crazy. There's a Joker in play, so I'm going to let him wait. He's in the back over by Nate. Actually, I'll have him act now. He's going to take a shot at Nate. So, successful yeah. Jeez.
He's on it today.
Yeah, this never happens to me. I'm proud.
We're not making it to game 21.
No, yes, we are. We're going to 21. Okay. So
Let's be honest, though, we did have this retribution coming for many reasons.
Mhm.
Right, we deserve this.
So Nate, there's this horrible sound behind you which catches your attention, and then suddenly, bow! You get shot in the shoulder. You're going to take a wound, and you will be shaken as well. You can remove shaken with bennies. Just let me know if you're doing it, or you can wait and make a vigor roll at the beginning of your turn. You pick.
Okay, that would happen on my turn, right? That's not going to happen.
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah, that's right. Or you can throw a benny out, and then it's just gone. You're unshaken. You're unshaken, but you still have the wound there.
Yep.
Makes sense. Okay. Moving on to this guy here. He is also going to take a shot at Dobbs. This is where shit goes. Okay. And what's your toughness?
Oh, my toughness is 7.
No. So you, Dobbs, you get shot twice. You are now taken. So, fun fact about soak rolls. So I should have told you this a second ago. I'll let you roll for both of them if you want. You can spend a benny to make a soak roll. If you succeed, you click the soak button on your character sheet. If that's successful, then you negate 1 wound. No more than 1. So if you were to take 2 wounds because of really heavy damage, then you have to soak those individually or cure them separately.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 of my 2 and try to soak that.
Okay.
Didn't do anything when I clicked it.
It may take like 5 years if it's in roll 20. Try clicking it again.
At me? What's happening?
Oh, I'm not on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
How is that
No.
possible? Wounds
I don't
-2,
know.
distracted -2. Okay.
Oh, because I put the wound on first.
Okay. Take. So let's rewind this just to keep it from being brutal. Take the wounds off real quick and make your soak roll. Yeah.
Would just be 1 wound because I
Okay,
do
yeah,
have 1 wound, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's no.
Nope.
How do I get a
What's
0?
a distracted?
Yeah, it must be.
Because you're shaking still. Yeah, got it. Okay. So yeah, you will have 2 wounds, 3 wounds, and you get into some serious shit, ladies and gentlemen. So that was his action. His head rolls around and does nothing, basically. So I think they're going to, as I think about the way this is playing out, the others are occupied. Lefty. I'm going to ask for, you got, give me a D6 rolls. The first one that comes up in the chat, I'm going to take. I don't think he knows that. No. Yeah, he doesn't know John's there. So he's watching Dobbs with satisfaction as Dobbs drops down. And actually, I'm thinking, Dobbs, you collapse into those barrels with like clack, clack, this kind of stuff falling down. And then, yeah, so he's not going to act against. He's looking for John. I think he's confused. He's going to hold his action, which brings us to Nate. Nate, what are you doing?
I mean, a lot has happened in the last 6 seconds.
It has.
So a blink of an eye ago, John was standing in front of him. He was watching his friend deal with a gut shot and trying to encourage him to continue. And then out of nowhere, whistles and buzz and poof and ghost and ash and a wink and a thank you and
That's the
then I'm
title
shot
for this
again.
episode, Mike. I'm going to go back to that recording, and I'm going to just a poof and a whistle and a puff.
poof and a wink and a shot. Love it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And then he shot and immediately, right? Like from gentleman duel to absolute chaos happens. And so I think Nate is a little bit caught off guard, and this is really not the best time to be doing this, but what is a trait roll specifically?
What do you mean?
So I have a an edge
Mm-hmm.
that allows me to roll my battle skill to support one type of trait roll
Okay.
and apply it to everyone within command range.
Ooh. Oh shit. Okay. So trait rolls are basically skills or attributes, usually skills. So you could apply your battle roll to say sneak if you really wanted to, but it would apply to everyone's sneak roll. Is that sort of the way that reads? Or
It sounds like it, right? Like I'm inspiring the group
Yeah.
to do
you're doing
a
the
thing.
dude. You're doing the bard thing. Yeah. You could do that. You could pick one trait roll for everyone. So it'd be shooting or stealth or what you pick. It would have to be sensible. It wouldn't be gambling, obviously. I don't.
No. Yeah, I think shooting is perfect, right? Like this is a shootout. We are outnumbered, and like we've done so many times before, like you start calling out that playbook of like what's going on.
Yeah.
And so the other piece I don't know is what my command range is. Command and inspire both reference a command range, but I don't know what that is.
So I'm gonna say, just being sensible here, it's within earshot. I'm looking at command ranges.
And again, I know this isn't really the best time for this.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Probably should have this figured out first.
We can learn, dude. We're learning more about the system because we're gonna be playing like every 2 weeks henceforth if you live. Command range is allies must be within 5 inches. So I'm gonna override that to double though, to be honest, because this is talking about yards and the way we've got the scale. I think within earshot. So yeah, I'll say you can get all the way to Dobbs. I think John's too preoccupied.
Yeah, that's fine. In fact, I think Dobbs is being generous, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So as this guy over here turns to smoke, and Nate sort of takes his shot, he sort of gives a nod to Ash, like thank you for saving my ass once again. And he says, make sure you look him in the eyes when you kill him. And he starts running this way to look for a barrel or something to duck behind.
Got it. Okay. So you're running into the.
Come over by me.
Yeah.
Got all these nice crates.
That's what I said. Right over here, this way towards the crate.
Yeah. So you've got your full move, so you could get over back behind the crates if you wanted to. You pick. You've got 6.
Yeah. I mean probably behind Ash,
Yeah.
right? Like I need to take a second to tend to the wound.
Make sure you look him in the eyes when you kill him, and don't step back because I'm right behind you.
Right. It does say I may roll my battle skill. So do I need to roll something in order to see if I was effective, or how does that work?
Yeah, you got to roll your battle skill. And if you're successful, then you will have whatever effect that has. Otherwise,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. In the chaos, I start calling plays, and can I use the Benny?
You sure can. Bennies are us today.
All right. Actually. Well, okay. I'll use the Benny to re-roll that. I still do have my wound because I did not use the Benny to remove my wound. Or shaken. Okay.
I think you would have had to. You can't. You had to have removed shaken, or you're not doing anything but sitting around being shaken until you make your vigor roll. So drop a Benny there.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that.
Man, you guys are getting low on those Bennies.
Bam.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wild die. Happy time. Okay, good.
Yep.
Yes. Nice. All right. So what does that do? Just so everyone knows how to account for it. So give a +2.
Yep. Once per turn, the hero may roll his battle skill to support one type of trait roll and apply it to everyone in command range. So I can support it. I don't know if I added D4, what that support functionality looks
okay.
like.
Yeah. There's a thing. I'll look that up. What's the trait that you're going to choose? And no metagaming. You can, if you're knife fighting and he chooses shooting, you will not know that you're being supported for shooting.
Right. Yeah. It would be shooting.
Okay.
If guns are ablazing, so let's shoot him back. This is a duel. That's the spirit, I think.
Plus, this dude probably just pissed Dobbs off, is all. Supporting. It's one of like a dozen pages. Support 106.
I know, I'm looking through now.
106. or 123. It's one of those two. Support. There it is. Okay. Sometimes characters may want to cooperate, help an ally with a task. So the GM decides possible a whole lot of other words. Okay, so +1 skill total this round, and a raise adds +2. So you would have gotten +1. So everyone add +1 to shooting rolls. But note that this is an interesting caveat, Mike. If you try this again and you get a critical failure, it actually subtracts 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, the whole support thing, it gives you an attempt to support, but if you fuck it up, like your narrative's really lame, like, hey guys, this sucks, I'm bleeding, and that's your motivational speech or whatever, it's going to be -2. Okay, cool. So everybody gets +1 to shooting.
Excellent.
And how long does that last?
So it says I can do that every round,
Okay.
or like each of my turns, but I don't know if that means like I can start stacking each trait, or it almost reads like you get that one round.
Yes.
It's page 61.
Yeah.
Inspires the.
Remove all support bonuses at the end of the recipient's turn. So you get 1 turn with that support, and then it folds in, and you can do it again if you want. Yeah, got it.
Make it count.
Nice. Which brings us to John with an H. You're there.
Okay.
All this stuff's going on. And then pow, 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 ping, pow. Hey guys, shoot them. What do you do?
As a free action, can I holster my gun?
Yep, I think so.
Okay. As I'm doing that, I say in basically a whisper behind him, in gambling, the many must lose in order that the few may win. And there's like a darkness almost starting to overtake me, not quite reaching out to the beyond, but I just put all my power points into increasing the amount and damage I can do with my bolts, and a deck comes in my hand pretty much point blank, and I just throw them at him. So I get 3 improved bolts by spending almost all my power points. So I'll do 3 attacks essentially with it.
Okay. Why don't you just do those 3 attacks then?
Okay.
And these are shooting rolls, right? Basically.
Spell casting, technically.
Okay. Yeah. So your wild die gets you there. So you got that. How did you roll a 0 on the wild die because you're wounded? Got it. Okay. So 4 nonetheless. So the second one hits as well.
Okay.
And the other one, So, right. So, you're going to roll damage for all 3 of those.
Roll damage for all 3. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. There's 3.
So, okay. This sucks. But as you're saying this, you're straining to hold the power in, right? You're just kind of focusing, and your veins are just kind of bulging and almost turning black. Your voice, you hear his voice get deeper as he says this, and then he just unleashes these things. What is that like for John? Like, what does he experience as he does this? Before we talk about what happens to this guy.
Yeah, it's almost like I've made pacts before with otherworldly beings to like help power me, and I've tried my hardest not to do that, but this is, I'm pulling to my limits, and I can feel them like pulling me as if like, okay, maybe the contract's been paid at this point, but seeing my friends be injured and shot at and things like that, and I just want this over with and to make sure he really dies twice.
Yeah, so you put these bolts into his back, which the dishonor of that is not lost on those that are standing behind you, and you can feel their hands encouraging you, like on your shoulder and like on the side of your cheek, like consoling you. Just blast the energy into the back of this guy. So the first one obviously shakes him, wounds him. Without going through the rigmarole of the rolls that would try to keep him alive and run me out of benefits, you blow him apart. Just like, and so Ash and Nate, from your kind of limited view around that corner there, you just see this guy blown to smithereens, little chunks of dry, kind of crunchy shit everywhere. He dies. And John, I hate you.
Yeah.
But that was good. It's well done, but I hate you.
Yeah. I'm gonna like drop to my knees at that too, just from the exertion of it.
Yeah. So you drop to your knees, and just as you do so, you feel a barrel pressed to your temple. And hear and then there's just kind of like the rest of you see the dead 7, as it were, a dead 6, dead 5. At this point, the dead 5 start to kind of, and literally his hand just kind of falls limp just before he pulls the trigger and blows your brains onto the deck, and they all just kind of fall apart, no longer held together by their leader's spirit. Dobbs is bleeding. Dobbs is bleeding real bad. Nate, your shoulder is fucked. What's Ash think of this situation? Checking in over there.
She's just wholly surprised that she did not get shot today, because she's so used to getting shot at this
It's
point.
pretty much those of you who get shot, it's always Ash. Yeah.
She's like looking at the bodies, being like, "What? One tarnation just happened." She like comes around the corner, kicks at some of the ash. Oh hell, you boys don't look so good. She's gonna run up to them.
Still breathing. It ain't much, but it's enough.
Dobbs, you got a little something right there, and also there.
He kind of holds his hand up to do something, and blood just like trickles, like pouring out of his hand as he tries to peel himself up off the barrels.
So what's crazy is as you're gathering up and you're trying to sort out, okay, Dobbs is alive. Dobbs is bleeding. And as the blood hits the deck, you hear this kind of like... You start to look around, and the apparitions are all seemingly very enticed by this blood that is now on the ground and flowing freely. And they're kind of moving in. What do you guys do? They're sort of, you can't really see, the boundary essentially is kind of along this line here as they're moving in. Get rid of this guy. Boop.
I want to step up and just point the revolver and make sure none of them get any closer.
Nice. So you pull up this revolver, and you realize now, for the first, because you hadn't really been paying attention to it, there's still like this purple vapor rising up from that one round that you shot. Give me an intimidation roll because that's your favorite at +2.
Hey, I put points into it.
Did you?
It's a D8 now.
Oh,
I
hell
did. Yeah, when we
She's
leveled up,
she's
I
like, I'm
actually
a scary bitch now.
added.
Nice. Okay. So as you step in front of Dobbs, what do you say to them?
Nah, everybody back off. We don't want no more trouble.
They hiss and just make various disturbing noises as they're still looking at the blood that's on the deck. But they do acquiesce. They move back and allow you to sort of control the situation. Dobbs is bleeding.
Maybe, and I sound like shit and winded and just all the things. Maybe we should take care of ourselves on the train and get out of here.
Has the train arrived yet, or are we still standing on the?
Literally,
like just the...
Yeah. As you look up, and not ironically, but as you look up, it's coming. You're just like, you see the train in the distance. You don't hear it though, like you should. You don't feel the, kind of, traveling along the rails. But there's something coming in the distance. Smoke, plume in the distance.
Nate's stuffing a handkerchief under his duster and kind of holding it tight to the wound and trying his best to keep his composure. And he walks over to his friend John, who he sees as worse for wear. He's lucky if he's ever seen him this bad. Sort of helps him to his feet. I think that's a good idea. Let's take our seats on the train.
Just as you say that, this heavy train comes kind of cruising in. It's entirely too dark, right? Like the wood is this sort of like just dark, almost like obsidian alabaster color. It's real kind of worn and cracked. The windows themselves are kind of hazed over. And as it pulls in, you notice it does make some noise. There's no avoiding that, but it's not its noise is not connected to the movement the way it should be. It's like this kind of off, shrill, tooth-hurting sound, but not when you would be prepared for it, like when the train's going to stop or whatever. And then this underlying groan, like almost a spirit inside of it, just as the steam escapes. You pull. Who's the one that pulls the door open?
I would imagine Ash is right on that, because she's kind of like got her guns. Like she's keeping an eye on these, apparitions, and then waiting for the boys to kind of peel themselves off the ground, and then kind of just guns still trained on these apparitions. She kind of just like with one hand just pulls it open.
Yeah. Ash, give yourself an extra Benny, by the way. I wanted to call you out for the Ghost Rock stepping up like a Sigourney Weaver get away from her, you bitch moment. That was so good. Like, so yeah, you open the door. The smell of like must, like this really intense, like the only way you can think of it is like the earth of a grave. As you open it, the air just escapes, and it's kind of cold and damp. But there is an open train door there. The conductor steps up at one moment, kind of still maintaining the space that you've asked for. All aboard, he says, his voice kind of reverberating through the wood at your feet.
Nate's got his arm around John, and he's quietly sort of helping him through the door.
As you're doing that, I'm fumbling and pull out my flask and take a really long swig of that.
Dobbs, what about
Dobbs
you?
will just kind of grab a hold of the railing and kind of yank himself up.
You do.
Ash does her best to like give him a pat on the back, push him in, and then one final like
Yeah,
nobody
just
move.
around. And there are fellow passengers, you realize, that seem to be waiting to board this train, the dead or the dying, you're not sure which. As you step on board the train, there's your typical hallway down the middle. It's all this sort of wood, kind of nice. It would be brass fittings and other things, but it's all just dingy, right? There's something just not right about it. It's almost like it's like the upside down version of what a train would be. What do you do? Are you looking for a car, like a little compartment or something?
Yeah, Nate would be looking for the first place that the four of us could sit down together, preferably a place with a door. But I mean, at that point, it's really about getting us down so we can start tending to the wounded. Because
Nate, give me a notice check because of where you're at. -2, just because of the way this is playing out. Let's see if you find a spot that this is agreeable.
Can I join him in that?
You could
I
assist.
think
Yeah,
Ash
you
has the
could.
same thought.
Yep. Oh wow. So Nate, you open the door to this car. Oh wait, till you come back. Yeah. You open the door to this car, and Ash is right there behind you, and you think it's empty, but then once you get a full look in, there's someone sitting against the back, right? And he turns to look at you, and his neck is like at a 90-degree angle, and the spine is clearly just not quite right, almost pressing through the skin. And he sort of smiles and nods, but as he does so, his head lolls back and forth, right? And then you're like, oh, and you feel a hand on your shoulder, and Ash, you're like, no. You think there's an empty one just down the way.
yeah, Nate sort of starts walking in and turns. Excuse us. We'll get the next one. Sort of
It's like,
pushes John back out.
no problem. So you, did I just do that? That was mean. I don't know.
That was amazing.
So
That's pretty solid.
So you move, you move a couple of doors down, and you open the door to what you think might actually be, no worries, Nate, might actually be a train car or a compartment that's open. Stuffing yourselves in there. There's essentially bench seats face to face with one another. It's very small and kind of cramped, but you pile in there. What do you do for your wound situation?
I mean, Ash doesn't really know much about treating wounds except for the on the road experience she's had, which thus far in her life has been if you pour tequila on it and wrap it up, it's usually okay. So I think that's probably what she starts to go to do, unless anyone stops her. She'll try and she's gonna pop out her flask and like dump some on Dobbs's hand.
Anybody stop her?
Yeah.
No.
Sounds solid.
Dobbs.
I probably take a drink out of my own flask. I was like, I'm gonna save mine for this side.
Yeah. Vigor roll, please. Let's see how you do with the pain there. Yeah, so it burns, and it reminds you of a time when something similar happened. You cut your hand, you know, and maybe it was even the same hand doing some farm work. Who was it, Dobbs, that did something similar with maybe it was a whiskey or who knows what, tequila? Was it your dad? Was it your mom? Who was it?
Oh no, well my mom died in childbirth, so it definitely wasn't
Probably
her.
not her. No, that's fair.
Probably wasn't my dad because he wasn't very helpful at all. So I'm gonna say it was Charlie. Charlie was one of my buddies that was on the chain gang, and there was one time when we were working on a railroad line, and I got a spike through my forearm.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, where's Charlie now? Is he alive?
Nah, he died.
Did you kill him?
No, we couldn't get the chain off his leg, and he couldn't outrun the outlaws. It was before Dobbs really cared about anybody, so he didn't really hesitate to leave him behind. But every time the chips are down against the crew here, he remembers old Charlie, and he remembers he'll never leave him behind again.
That is fucking brilliant. Thank you for that. Okay, so here's the way healing works. You got a healing skill. You may or may not have healing skill.
Nope.
You can remove wounds. Each attempt basically requires 10 minutes to kind of dress and pack and, you know, dig the bullet out, whatever the situation is. If you don't have first aid kit or anything like that, you subtract 1, so there's a penalty for that. A success removes 1 wound, and a raise removes 2. Failure means no wounds are removed. Critical failure increases the victim's wound level by 1. So with Dobbs, you've got, what, 2 wounds or 1? 2.
2.
So that could kill him, just so you know. So he's in pretty tough shape right now. There's another complication, and this is why they call it Savage Worlds. We hadn't gotten there yet, but this is good. The golden hour. So a character can only attempt to heal wounds on a patient one time, within the hour they are sustained. Failing the roll means the healer isn't able to do it. It's out of your depth. The bullet's too deep, whatever the situation may be. A different character can try, representing, no, I've dealt with this before. Let me try. But once the wounds are over an hour old, so starting from now, only natural healing or a healing power, magic or whatever, can actually heal the wound. So natural healing takes a long time. You make a vigor roll every 5 days. Success recovers 1 wound, and a raise recovers 2. But you can't be out there just like kind of like full on combat in the meanwhile, right? So you're like laid up with like bandages and laying around drinking soup or some kind of weird, I don't know, like they're putting moss on your bullet holes or something. I don't know how they're doing this, but does anybody have healing is what I'm going to ask.
Come on, Nate.
Nope. Is there possibly a doctor on the train?
Could
one of those dead individuals be?
Yeah, so you call out. You call out to one of your friends. You're in no shape to be going door to door for sure. The train has got about 12 cars, not including the dining cars. So there are passengers aboard.
Are we worried about them trying to eat us rather than heal us, though?
You definitely
how they acted on the
they definitely
platform.
seem, some of the ones on the platform certainly seem to be interested in the lifeblood. Maybe not the cannibalistic hunger, but maybe John, with your occult knowledge, you might be able to derive that maybe they're drawn to like life, and blood is the symbol, the ultimate symbol of life. And it's all over the place right now in this room. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we saw Bart get eaten in front of our eyes.
Oh, he did.
Teddy too?
Consumed.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Teddy 2
Yeah. Teddy part 2.
or 3.
That was Teddy 3.
Yeah, because the sheep was 2. The sheep.
Can't keep track of all.
All these
Teddies.
teddies. All these teddies. Yeah. So what do you do? The only one that's not bleeding, I think, is Ash. Is that right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's actually fine.
Aside from like the consumption,
Yeah,
but everything else is fine.
she's like, hold on, I'm gonna take a gander and see if there is anybody on board who's got medical knowledge. And she just hawks up a glob of blood and like wipes it on her shirt. I'll be right back.
Technically, she is bleeding.
Now she is.
I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah. Now she
Internally.
is.
Just
Yeah.
internally.
Do you guys want me to go look around? Because I will pop around different trade cards and try to find a ghost doctor. Is that our plan? Yeah.
I
Seems
know.
reasonable based on everything else.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
Worth a shot, I guess. We don't
Which
want
one of
Dobbs
you-
dying.
which one of you three looks the least fucked up?
That's not me.
Probably me. I took a shot to the shoulder, but
Yep.
I can still stand. My duster's probably covered in blood, but I've got a handkerchief shoved up between my shirt and my duster to kind of stem in the bleeding a little bit. I mean, John has got to be exhausted at the very least, and Dobbs is dead. So
Yeah, I think I just Ash just quickly like unhooks the rifle from her back and just like hands it to you, Nate, and is just like, all right, don't let any of those undead apparition type monstrosity, I guess denizens, I think they are supposed to be here and we're not. Don't let anybody near that ain't me, right?
I'll take care of him. And Nate sort of sits with his back up against the window of the car. He's got his good arm on the trigger, the barrel laid across his lap, and his busted arm and shoulder, his hand rested on top of the barrel, holding it steady, and it's just sort of pointed at the doorway.
Yeah, give me a perception roll, Nate, as you get into that position and you're really kind of settling
Yeah.
in.
Perception. Is it? Or you mean
Yeah,
notice?
yeah. I'm sorry, notice. That's fine. Yeah,
Yep.
sorry. Mixing systems. Wow, yeah. So, you've ridden a lot of horses. You've ridden away from a lot of bad things. You've gone fast, bank robberies, maybe, you name it. You've never seen land move as fast as it's moving right now. You've been on trains. You've been to the big city. The land is moving. And what's really crazy, there's not a single star. There's not a moon. The sky's just black. And it just completely just blows your mind watching this kind of... You can't even make out the terrain.
Yeah, that makes Nate a little bit nervous, and so he doesn't point at the window or anything like that. But he looks at Ash earnestly and says, "Come right back. Find yourself a doctor. You come right back here."
Ash.
Sir, yes, sir. Tips her hat.
So you step out of this area in this car. There are a handful of these in this car alone. What do? So you're kind of looking around. You don't see anybody out in the hallway just now?
Is she like in that section like between like open cars where
Yeah.
she's outside?
No. So she stepped out of the door of the compartment, and so she's in that tiny little hallway in the middle where she can kind of move along. She's not outside of the train yet. There is the between for sure, which you haven't encountered yet. I'll let you know when you do, for sure.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, I think she's just gonna start. About where are we in the train? Like, are we middle? Are we near the caboose? Near the front?
No, I'm gonna say middle-ish, not near the front. I'll say kind of mid, right mid. Yeah.
Okay. Lenora doesn't have a ton of experience with old-timey engines, but I would suppose that the caboose is more likely to be where like Gen Pop hangs out and like storage and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ash thinks to go towards the engine.
Okay.
So she starts moving in that direction. And actually, like, I guess she would probably be peeking into each compartment to see like who is sitting there.
Yeah. So Dobbs, or Byron, Byron, describe for me the two people that Ash sees when she looks into the first compartment, and why did they die? Go hard.
So
Go hard.
I'm thinking it's a small boy, probably about 8 years old, and his mother, and they died of smallpox, and so they have the blistering sores and stuff all over them, and his mother is kind of talking to him and explaining to him why they don't have his teddy bear, and he was supposed to bring the teddy bear with him on the train, but it's left behind, and she's telling them that they're moving on from their previous life and they're not going to see dad anymore. There you go.
Jason, this is your fault.
God damn.
You said go hard.
Thanks.
How could you expect that? I expected some idiot accidentally lit a stick of dynamite or two bank robbers with nooses around their neck. Wow.
Okay.
You could think 1883. That's a first scene stolen right out of 1883 that Sam Elliott sees when in the beginning of it that his wife and child had died.
Should we all just have a cry? Is that what we should do? Oh my god.
I feel like Byron
Another
needs
drink.
Sorry,
Amazing.
man.
Okay, cool. So that's what you see. Clearly no doctor.
Great.
So what I'm going to ask Ash to do is I'm going to ask Ash to make a spirit roll.
Oh no.
You're going to start experiencing
At -10.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like as with previous stuff, I realized this was important, and when we leveled up, I put some points into it.
Ooh, smart.
Thank God.
How is it that you overcome the sanity shredding vision that you see here next to you? What is it? How do you steel yourself against that as you look in that window?
I think Ash has seen that before.
Yeah.
She ain't no spring chicken. She's seen a lot of death.
Yeah.
To her, that just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not a doctor, and it's not what she needs, and she keeps moving.
So, and it's like as you're walking, the lingering gaze isn't between you and the mother; it's between you and the child. And he's looking at you, and you're looking at him, and you kind of snap away, moving. As you turn, there's this fucking husk of a person, dry, desiccated, like to the point no lips left, just kind of staring at you in a conductor outfit, right? Like this sort of ticket taker outfit. Go to your compartment. It says. It has no lips. That's my best not having lips voice.
That's pretty good.
Do you wish to have a meal in the dining car?
Yeah. That's where I was headed.
He points over your shoulder. You're going the wrong way.
Right. Of course. Thank you very much. She turns around swiftly and starts walking the other way.
You sense you're being followed.
Yeah, just like looking back over her shoulder, like. Oh.
It's this
You
like
just see Ash sprint past.
You do see Ash move past the sort of window, and then there's this like guy kind of walking behind her. Yeah, so you wind up in the dining car, where there is there are tables on either side. It's a one broad car, and yeah, there's an assortment of people here. All of them obviously having died in some way. I'm going to ask Nate. Tell me, what is the most noteworthy of the dead in here? The most noteworthy.
Most noteworthy is probably the guy sitting at the bar trying to have a drink, and the alcohol is just dribbling off of his lips and hitting the counter. And the reason he's most noteworthy is because of the absolute perfect horseshoe that was left on his cheek there. Looks like a farmhand, couldn't have been older than 20, 25, but it was very clear that it was an instant death when he walked behind the wrong horse.
Yeah, and you know this because when he turns his head, it's shallower than it should have been, right? Like it's not the full depth of it. It's just like smashed in, and
you can count the nails in the shoe based on the imprint on his face.
I got kicked by Murph like that once.
I was just, I think Ash is an
Murph.
idiot who thinks about Murph.
Give me a perception roll, Ash.
All right. Ooh, crappy for me.
Wild die saves you. Well, actually, no, not too bad because you got a 4 anyway. But so you notice, and John's going to tell you how he died. And I want you to make this a challenge for me to play. Don't be silly. Well, be silly. I don't give a shit. Toward the back of the dining car, there's a gentleman who is dressed in finer clothes. And he does, in fact, as luck would have it, have next to him on the table there what would appear to be a handbag that all those doctors carry. But John, tell me what's wrong with the doctor. How did he die?
There's actually still, it's almost like a phantasmal plastic bag around his head. His pants are partially down, and it looks like it's constricting. You see a mark around his neck, and he looks very like bright red in the face, even though he's passed along.
So it's just like I'm looking for a plastic bag.
I can't tell if Jason's never going to ask us again, or he's only ever going to ask us from now on.
I can't do it. I'll pass out. So he's there. Just. Do I have a plastic bag? I don't have a plastic bag.
Don't do
No,
that.
Jason.
Damn. Okay, so yeah, he's there. Pants partially down, and his ascot is really tight, like in excess kind of tight. And his eyes are just completely bulged, right? And he's got a little bit of kind of vomit. Ash, what do you do?
She glances behind her first of all to see if the conductor guy is still following her into the train car. She's very uncomfortable.
He points. Have a
Yep.
Points to a
and she turns back and thank you very much. Thank you very much. And she like pats her coat to see if she has any money, and then she realizes she still doesn't have any money, and just then awkwardly turns away and makes an unfortunate eye contact with this bulgy-eyed, asphyxiated doctor. Notices the bag and notices the trousers, then looks back at the bag, then looks at his eyes. Right. And just she's gonna see if there's any loose drinks on the bar that she can steal as she walks up to him.
Yeah, so you walk along, and as it happens, there's actually a bottle. And I think that the sort of bartender staff person, quick hit, Dobbs, say 5 words or less. How did the bartender die? 5 words or less. 5 words or less.
Shot in the face.
Ooh, yeah. So you from the profile, you see sort of the side profile, and you go to grab this bottle, and you see the bartender there, and you're like, oh, geez, I need to say something to the bartender. The bartender turns, and you can see out the window through the hole in his face. It's like this big. You sort of see straight out through all the viscera and whatever. You take this bottle. He says nothing to you. And it's, what would you like it to be? Is it tequila, probably?
I don't care what it is. All I know is that she snags it and just says, put it on his tab. And she points to the guy with the horseshoes.
He dutifully turns. Yeah, he dutifully turns away, and you move over to the asphyxiated, well-dressed person.
She's drinking out of the bottle as she moves. Howdy, sir. You don't need to say anything. In fact, I'd prefer it if you did not.
Hello.
There it is.
Pretty lady, he says.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm genuinely flattered. Listen, I got some... She, like, looks around. I got some buddies of mine who were in a bad way back over yonder, and I was wondering if you might assist me with some of your medical knowledge, or at least some of your tools there in that bag.
He looks at his bag. I'm a doctor. And a little vomit, just kind of, you know. Not a doctor of the dead.
I don't think that's going to be a problem. In fact, I think you might just be the exact person. I'm so sorry. Hold on just a minute. I don't know what this is. And she like reaches forward. She's gonna snap. But did you say plastic?
Yes, but
Plastic.
Deadlands equivalent.
Yeah. So,
Oh, canvas.
She just
Very nice silk.
yeah. Silk. Fine. It's plasticky silk. It's like a
wax paper.
Yeah. So
You guys buy the ghost in the ghost train, but you question the plastic?
Yeah, true. I guess they're making zeppelins and stuff. I guess
My
maybe they're-
immersion.
So you go to remove this? Is that what you do? You go to kind of
Yeah.
So
she
he
just
grabs your
starts, like,
hand. He grabs your
Sharon.
hand, and he looks at you with this look on his face, like, "What are you doing?" And then he kind of squeezes tightly. His hand's so cold and so clammy, and he squeezes your hand and he pulls it the other direction to make it tighter, and just.
Right. Anyway, we can get back to whatever this is. And she's like trying so hard to pull her hand away. She's like, yeah, let's just, you know what, big boy, let's just save it for my private car. If you'll come along this way, I'm sure it'll be worth your while. And she like tries not to vomit.
He seems a little confused, but I'm going to ask for a persuasion roll. I'm going to go ahead and give you +2. I'll give you +2 because that was pretty epic, and I'm going to give you a Benny, and I'm also going to pay for your copays for therapy for the next 6 months.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah. So he just he nods as soon as you agree to stop trying to take his his NXS necklace off. He gets up and proceeds to follow you, but as he stands, he crackles because it's like he's been sitting here for a long time, like a really long time. And he reaches and he grabs his medical bag, and it's as if he some part of him is remembering. It's like he suddenly stops replaying the situation he's in, and he kind of walks almost with purpose behind you. You walk past the who seems disappointed that you didn't order anything, but you.
I shake the bottle at him and nod.
Says he, and you move. So Ash or Len, tell the team what they see arriving at the door as they're laid out there in various states of pain and woundedness.
Is this car that we have, like, is it like one of those that has like the doors where it's private, like look out the window to the hallway, or?
Yeah, it's
just
yeah,
kinda
it's
open?
got sort of they're little windows, but they're wooden, kind of a swing out kind of wooden door. Yeah.
So the first thing you see is the top of Ash's really messed up Stetson hat. It's definitely got like a hole and like a cigarette burns in it, and it's fraying, and probably a little bit of her hair sticking out of it at this point. So you see that, and then she pushes open the door, nodding at Nate to not shoot. I think he's a doctor. And then she just steps inside, and then you see.
Yeah, you see
As
this guy
John's-
just like comes around the corner with his bag. So he kind of just moves in. How do you react to this asphyxiating doctor coming around with his pants halfway down? He's duck walking.
I shake my head and just take another long drink.
Okay.
At this point,
I hand you the bottle, dude.
Spirit. Dobbs rolls a spirit. He rolls double zeros. How is that even possible? Yeah.
Because of wounds.
Yeah. So you're convinced,
Negative
Dobbs,
everything.
that you're probably being taken by the fever. This is just off the chain. Who, guys? Tell me who you would like to who should the doctor attempt to heal first?
Nate looks at Ash like, is this the best you could find? But, he trusts her, and he just kind of points to Dobbs, who's probably hallucinating somewhere, and said, "Dog, if you could help him, I think he's in a bad way."
Take care of Nate. Take care of Nate. Mama's reading to me.
Nope, that's a sign he needs help. Babe, please, this gentleman is actually dying.
He points. I'll remind you. Was it John that did this to me with the? Yeah, it was. Thanks, John. So yeah, he's pointing at Dobbs' wounds and just and he goes to work. He steps in. I'm not gonna do this roll because this could be pivotal. Remember, critical failure increases the wounds. So, John, since you made me play autoerotic asphyxiation doctor, or whatever this is, I'm going to ask you to make Dobbs's roll. Let's see. It's a 1d12. It's a 1d12, and you have one Benny that you may use.
Did he wash his hands?
Ooh, nice. Okay, so success with a raise, actually. Because your difficulty there is 4. So. Dobbs, you're going to get 2 wounds back. But you're going to do so as he literally just kind of reaches into these bullet holes and pulls the lead out. And it's just like moving too fast. There's no deadening of the pain, no nothing, no respect for you as a sort of a human, I should say. But what's that? Vigor, yes.
I figured to stay awake.
Yeah, so you are Dobbs is screaming out in pain. And you're convinced, and the doc every once in a while is like, and goes right back in to do the next one. And yeah, he absolutely patches Dobbs up soon enough. Not soon enough. It feels like an eternity as you're watching the outside speed by like a fucking Japanese bullet train. Dobbs is sleeping. Dobbs, you may remove 2 wounds. And you feel much better.
Sweet.
Next, he says. Len's muted. She's like throwing up in her mouth. She's like calling 911.
Definitely not like super thrilled about this. Vivid descriptions, but also loving it. Ash holds the bottle out between the two of them, between John and Nate. And she knows that Nate does not usually partake, but whoever grabs it, I think, is up next.
Having like an internal discussion, maybe a wound's not that bad type situation after seeing that with Dobbs, but I'll grab the bottle and take another long swig.
Yeah.
And ready myself.
I would like to point out for the visual that he's wearing long flappy underwear, like with the flap in the back with the long, so there's not like a thing going on there.
It's his junk isn't out. Is
Yes.
what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're-
I was wondering, and I was too
I
afraid
know,
to ask.
I know you were, and just you can't heal someone with your junk out. You can't, shouldn't, won't happen.
Just
Okay.
undignified.
So Len,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you since John put us both through this, I'm going to ask you to roll the 1d12 for his healing roll.
If you die, it's your own fault.
Fair.
Uh,
I've
is
earned
it
this.
1d12?
Yeah, 1d12.
Okay.
Okay. So
Can I spend a Benny on that?
yeah, you can spend his. He actually should have three. So he's a wild card. So you'll have, yes, spend one. There you go.
Huh.
So again, imagine whatever horrific, fast and sort of thrashing movements necessary to dig the bullet out of your abdomen. And then patch you up using a variety of strange things out of his bag, like these rusty implements that he has in his bag, clearly not been cleaned since the last surgery that may have been during the Civil War. Like it's that era of equipment, right? So you just kind of like dig in and whatever. But yeah, he will absolutely remove your wound as well. And finally, Dobbs, why don't you roll for Nate? Yeah, you're like still. I want to shake some more. Wow. So yeah, yours is pretty easy, in and out. So the bullet bullet went straight through. So it's more of after all the thrashing, you're kind of going into this expecting take this big chug of the you don't drink, right? So you pretend to take a big chug or whatever,
Right.
and it's basically like, oh, it's just Band-Aid kind of thing. It's like you're okay. He removes your wound, no problem. And then what? As he just sort of, as this takes so I'm going to say probably about, 4 hours, 4.5, 5 hours, long period of time. Because like especially Dobbs is a mess. There's like a pan with some bloody bullets in it, and just kind of bandages everywhere, just blood everywhere, and you realize that he's just fixated on the blood that's there as he's standing in there, and just kind of awkwardly now. Like, and he leans down and just sticks out his tongue like toward this bowl of blood. What do you guys do? You leave him in the room with you?
Nate stands up and grabs the bowl and takes the wadded, bloody handkerchief that he's stemming the bleeding with. He puts it in the bowl, sort of presses it into the doctor's hand and says, thank you very much. And just sort of like pushes him out the door
And he
closes it behind him.
He turns and just waddles, because you do when your pants are halfway down. I don't know if you know this,
Naturally,
but you can't
yeah.
just get a full stride in, So he kind of shovels his way out. And we're going to end the stream, I think, for all of our sakes, right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been Myth Brigade. This has been The Curse of the Black Ridge Mine. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.